everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Handyman TV, and this week is going to be more on functionality of fashion for the winter. So I bike to and from work, and when the snow has freshly fallen and then it gets hard, whether it's been plowed or there's footprints, it's like driving on black ice. You can't really bike, so I do walk during the winter. I am my own transportation. I don't rely on anyone else, and that requires a lot of preparation and having the right stuff and right fashion wear, which has to be very functional. So I'm just going to go over some basic tips for you guys. So I'm just going to go over, let's start off with from the inside out. So yes, long johns. If you haven't worn these before, you will. Because, like, I have my brother when we were in high school, it'd be like negative 20 degrees outside, and all he's wearing is a sweater. Like, no layers. He's got his pants and his shirt and then his sweater on, and it's freezing outside. Of course, the guy's like, I'm all tough. You know, I can withstand, like, negative 50 degrees. No. You have to be very functional when it comes to your clothing wear. So when it comes to, like, even with your leggings, you can still put tight long johns, like the pants, on, and they can be tight. Just make sure that it's form-fitting, because there are two kinds. You want the tighter ones for when it's just, you know, you're not doing a lot of movement. But if you're like biking, your legs are bending and going up when you're pedaling and stuff, so you want something that's a little bit looser, because even though it stretches, it's going to be constricting, and it's going to take that much more energy to pedal if it's tight. So on top, you want it tighter or form-fitting to the body, but it still has like a little give. And for the pants, when you're biking or walking, have it a little looser. You need it looser, even though it's better to have it tighter, because this is your body and this is your say your long johns or whatever your first layer is. If there's that space in between, the air and the hot air from your body escapes and it's trapped in between. Whereas if you put it together, this layer of insulation, as it were, if you're wearing long johns, will keep that warmth inside your body versus escaping. So you retain your heat and you stay warm. So long johns are very important. These are the ones that I tend to wear. They're really nice, and they are, I wear these usually with my PJs. If I am biking to and from work, I wear the really cruddy ones, and trust me, they're ones that are ugly if you've like inherited them from like parents, or they're the old ones and not the new ones. And then with the pants, I try to find something that's going to be really warm. This does breathe if I'm wearing it just one layer, but it's almost like a fleece, and I don't know what it is, but yes, this is covered in dog hair. I have dogs, and no matter how many times I wash it, the hair never comes out. And to be quite frank, if it's going to keep me warm, I don't care. So those are my pants, and then I have my long johns, and then what I'll do is I'll wear leg warmers. Now with leg warmers, these are the ones that I got at Walmart, and they're, you know, nice, fashionable, but they don't stretch that much. So they've already started, you know, tearing little holes at the seams because they don't stretch that much, and I'm layering over like long johns with tights, and then, you know, over my knees and stuff was bending and just a lot of pull. Whereas these ones from Ardene's have a lot more give, and one end is larger than the other, so put that one on the bottom so that you can layer it over your boot if you're wearing like an ankle boot versus a boot that, you know, goes above your ankle. These Ardene's is always cheap. I mean, you can, I think these were like 3 for $10 or 2 for $10 or something or other. So I stocked up on a lot of these. So I use some for personal, some for work. Actually, you also use, so it's 3 sets, one for personal, one for work, and one for biking to and from work. So that's that. Because you have your coat, which I will be waterproofing with my boots today. Anything that you wear besides your like your long john undershirt, and then between that and your coat is got to be, depending on how cold it is outside, because you don't want to over sweat if you don't need to. because if you get really, really hot and it's cold outside and you start taking up layers, that tends, in my opinion, to give you a cold or flu, or, you know, makes you susceptible because you're overworking yourself. Make it whatever layer is to accommodate the weather. So if it's really, really cold outside, wear something that's wool and stretchy, or a fleece. I have a fleece layer with mine, so if it gets really warm outside, I don't need it. I can take it out and just wear the jacket. Just use the appropriate layer in between your undershirt and your jacket. So between that. Next up, I'm going to go with all the accessories that you're going to need to keep the rest of your extremities warm. Your neck, most important. Oh my gosh. Because your goat comes up to here and you have your hood, but this entire area is exposed, and the cold air can still get in, even if your collar is like right here, and that gets your neck and your face and everything cold. And if it's really cold outside, you don't want to do that. So this is what I have, and they have ones where it's kind of like those little, what are they, turtlenecks that only go to like here. Don't get those, they're a waste, and they're really tight around the neck. This stretches really well, and then if I need to, because my collar's right here now, then I can layer it over my nose. But if I'm wearing sunglasses, keep it below your nose, because what happens is your hot breath is getting out and it's going to fog your glasses and you can't see. So, if you want to use an additional scarf, I definitely recommend definitely having this. If you have a scarf, the air tends to get through depending on how you wrap it. This is a very, very thin scarf. This is just for fashion, or one of those not so cool days. This is a little bit thicker, and the fleece, I say, is the best because it's so tightly woven. There's not a lot of holes in knit, like that tend to be in knits, that the air can get through and make you colder. This will stop it, and this will keep you warm. So make sure to choose your accessories wisely, because you want some for lighter days, which can be like your pashmina scarf is just as good for a not so cold day. And then you want the really good ones for when it's like negative 20 or 30 degrees. And then I bike through that, so trust me, it can get cold. Well, obviously you know that, but gloves. For an average day or a cool night, I'll wear a fingerless glove, and if I need to, I can just take that little mitt and pull it over. If I have to, what's really good is wearing the mittens, because your hands will keep it warm together. If you start separating it, it will tend to get more cold. I like to wear like these, really trying to make sure that they're the right size too, because there are ones that are really small and it's really hard on your hands. So I'm wearing this, and then say it's not so cold outside, and I'll wear this over top just to give myself a little bit more layer. But what I tend to do is I put the small glove and then I put it inside the mitten, just because it's thin enough, but I'm giving myself an extra layer. And what I'm going to be doing is making sure that I waterproof these, because the waterproof, emphasis on the air quotations, the gloves I got from the dollar store are massive and they're very cumbersome. If I'm trying to grab onto anything like my bike handle, and this is my bike handle, and then if I tried to grab my brakes, like my fingers are so thick I can't really grab anything. And even though it's got this nice part where the knit will come out from here so the air doesn't get trapped or go through this open space, there's that knit part that, you know, grabs to your body. That's nice, but I don't like to wear these because they're just a waste. Like, my fingers feel so huge I can't really grab onto anything, and I'm biking, right? So those are pretty straightforward. If it's raining outside and it's not that cold, although you can layer, you know, underneath. If it's not a cold day, but you can still wear layers underneath. I got the rain jacket set, and it has the reflectors on it, so if I'm, you know, late at night, I'll work until midnight and have to bike home. This is really good. Mine is an overall set. They usually come like this. I got mine at TSC. You can also get them at Canadian Tire. Rule of thumb though is that little under seam that's right here, because you put your backpack on and every time I go to take my strap off, take a drink of water, and then put my strap back on, all that abrasion is ripping the seam. So that's where duct tape comes in. So you want to make sure, if you're just buying it, that you reinforce those seams that you think are going to be very abrasive or get a lot of abrasion and start tearing, and that way you reinforce them, and if they're already torn, repair them. Hats, which I should have covered already, but I didn't. Rule of thumb, this is fashionable, but it's your ears and your feet are your thermometer. If you keep them warm, you keep the rest of your body warm. So because my ears are slightly exposed and they're not completely covered, I am not completely insulated myself, so this is fine for like a medium warm day, but this is where the Canadian tube comes in hand. So then I can still see because it's just past my eyebrows. I can put it down, tighten it, prevent any air from coming in. If I have my little neck warmer and stuff, everything is insulated. Or I can put it up if it's a not so cold day, so my ears suddenly become like air conditioning, or they vent out some, but I'm still keeping myself warm. So I have my winter boots, I have my fashion boots, which I will probably be wearing this winter, and I have my winter jacket and my raincoat. So I'll be doing some repairs and spraying those 2 layers, spray them twice to prepare them for the winter, because it's better to do it now than to need it and not have it done, because then if it gets wet, then your feet get wet and then you get cold, and just going into work with your feet wet or anything wet is really, really not pleasant and very uncomfortable. So if you're going, if you have your rain suit, pick up these rain boots. You can get them at Ardene's during those seasons, and I think these were the 2 for $15. So if you don't want to buy 2 sets, you can always mix it with other deals, or the cashier, you can take from different sections and different deals, like 2 for $10 and 2 for $15 and 2 for $20 and all that stuff, and see if you can make a deal. So I'm going to get spray painting all this and repairing, and then I have a little surprise for you at the end. So I'm putting a layer of newspaper down so that whatever I spray doesn't end up on the pavement, and I'm doing this outside so that any of these fumes, it says flammable and toxic and abrasive and all that stuff, you don't want this to, you want it insulated, so that's why I'm doing it outside. Not insulated, it's, you want it outside. You want to do it outside. Alright. Make sure to close up all your pockets and seams and stuff so you're not spraying on the inside, because you don't need to.